This documentary is not about Faith Methodist Church and its staff members. This documentary is not about the homeless women we have housed within our premises. This documentary is not about me either, the one narrating in this film. God loves justice more than anybody in this world. God built brick and mortar churches, but tells us to leave the door open always. God tells us the face of the church ought to be smiling at whoever looks its way. So, this documentary is about following God, tracing His footsteps as He whispers to us, "Follow me." At New Year, we were still wishfully praying for a better year than 2019. Some were praying for the upcoming national exams. Some were praying for a pay increase. Some were praying for a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And Pastor Raymond was praying for one mission for the church. What I know is that most, if not all prayers that God hears at New Year are hopeful. Let's just say the God we serve is full of surprises.
My fellow Singaporeans, my fellow Singaporeans, my fellow Singaporeans and residents, we're not locking down the city or confining everybody to stay at home. We have ample supplies. There's no need to stock up with instant noodles or toilet paper. Today, the WHO declared COVID-19 to be a pandemic. But let me emphasize this. The situation in Singapore remains under control. We are not locking down our city. We will therefore impose significantly stricter measures. This is like a circuit breaker. We will implement these tighter measures until the 4th of May. But we will not be able to completely lift the restrictions after that and go back to business as usual. We will therefore extend the circuit breaker for 4 more weeks beyond the 4th of May. In other words, until the 1st of June.
So dear, how has this COVID-19 affect you as well as our family?
Personally,
Yes.
actually nothing. Not much. Because I started in December confining at home already. And then just carry on all the way through the CB to get to go out. So it's really...
Yeah, but for somebody who likes to interact with people, going out, don't you miss that part of your life?
That's why I need Zoom. That's why I'm on Zoom and on WhatsApp video call.
But I think it has also affected our family, right, in a way, because I find that through this unprecedented pandemic, it brought our family closer together. In a way, we spend more time together because I don't need to come to church. I'm working from home. Obviously, you've been home all the time, so maybe that's why you say it doesn't really affect you. But then we get to see Joel at home as well all the time.
Yeah, and he's so much happier.
So much of what?
Happier.
Happier, yeah, of course. For Joel, he's somebody who is, appreciate spending time at home and with the family.
COVID-19 has affected everyone somehow. To many, it was a great inconvenience, and to others, a huge personal crisis. But it also unexpectedly created many opportunities to bless others.
So how was COVID-19 for you?
I think I spent a lot more time with my parents at home. I think before COVID I used to spend a lot of time in church. Not having dinner at home. Just even if like resting, meeting friends is all outside. So now I have a lot more time at home, which is good. I get to interact a lot more with my parents as well. How about you?
I think think COVID-19 has been the time of recalibration for me. Like you say, I actually get to spend more time at home now with family. So especially during circuit breaker, I had the time for really very regular devotions with the family, which I really appreciate. So the presence of me at home helps in building those relationships, especially with my son, who's also at home. So how has it been for the church, really? What are your thoughts?
I think starting it was a bit difficult for people to transition. Maybe for the staff I don't know about the congregation, but because we were still filming in like February and March, right? But there was no service anymore. But yeah, I think people slowly getting used to just worshipping online, and I think it really forced a lot of people to go digital, which is a good and bad thing, because those who really cannot catch up just get left behind.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that it's really a period of uncertainty for the church now. Remember in like February, March, we're scrambling to start online services. And then before we know it, we had to adapt to circuit breaker. We couldn't film. And then we had to do home recordings for worship sets. And so it was really a time of uncertainty, and we had to adapt to the uncertainty. But I really felt that through the uncertainty, it really compelled us to trust God more now. Right? I mean, we really just didn't know what's going to happen. And that trust in God was actually a very valuable lesson. And to me, it was really a time of surrender because of the uncertainty that we had. Yeah. I mean, to be very honest, at the start of circuit breaker, there was a sense of helplessness because there were just so many needs out there. There were needs among the migrant workers. There were needs among the poor and needy. There were needs among the homeless. And yet we were stuck at home. We couldn't go out and help them. So I was really wrestling with this sense of helplessness. And what is faith going to do in this time where justice is needed? The second category of persons who need shalom really are the homeless. Who are the homeless? They are the ones with no roofs over their heads. They can be the poor, or they can be Malaysian workers during the circuit breaker period. They can be persons chased out of their homes because of domestic or family reasons. And during the circuit breaker period, all the available premises are no longer available for them. You know, during non-circuit breaker time, if you go down to Beach Road or around the vicinity or Jalan Besar area, and when you speak to the homeless people there, they have a place to go to at night, to roam, to find a place to sleep. But now with circuit breaker, they are not allowed to be in the streets. Where do they go? They have no place to go. And I thank God that God has raised a movement of kindness because of COVID-19. 40 religious and welfare organizations have come together to open up their premises to provide shelter to these homeless people. And I want to update the church that we here at Faith, in partnership with QCMC, we are playing our part to serve the homeless. We have managed to obtain a permit to start what we call a safe, sound sleeping place at Faith. It's a temporary 24/7 shelter for homeless women, only for women. And in partnership with QCMC, we have converted 2 rooms with capacity for 8 ladies. And I'm pleased to say that we have received our very first stayer on Thursday. And we look forward to seeing more and welcoming more. And so the second get.
Hey Jungmin, you remember the time when I asked you to volunteer for church for S3P?
Technically, you asked me.
Oh yeah, I asked Josh.
Yeah. Because Josh is your close friend and my close friend.
He asked a small group
No, he asked like a couple of us.
of his close friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I got to. And yeah, because I was on my school holidays anyway, and I was wondering what I was gonna do. I was like, oh, okay, this is great. Yeah, so I joined.
Then that time you were telling me about listening to P. Ray's sermon about the
Wow.
seeking the shalom of the city.
Pastor Raymond, man. Yeah. Well, actually, I remember that sermon like super clearly. I think it was one of my favorite sermons that I've listened to this year. Because I think he was talking about like social justice, right?
Yep.
And he was contextualizing in Singapore. So I was actually on exchange right before COVID happened. I was in the US and I asked God to share a piece of his heart for the homeless people there. Yeah, and he actually did, and like I really wanted to make a documentary about the homeless people over there. But because of COVID, I had to come back and I was asking God like, so what now? Like, because now I've seen how important like social justice is to God. I wanted to extend on sharing his heart as well. So like I watched a sermon when I was in the process of praying about it, and it was like crazy, like the fact that our church was opening our doors to the homeless people, and I was like, this is really perfect, man. Like,
So the timing all aligned and all.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
nice.
crazy.
Yeah, so I was actually part of the team that started like planning for this.
Yeah.
So just partnering with Pastor Raymond and some of the core team like Jason and Eket from QCMC even. It was really nice to just partner with Pastor Ray about like how like you can just really feel his heart for the homeless.
Definitely.
He wants to do things that like God has placed upon his heart to reach out to the homeless, to even open up as a shelter, even in the midst of COVID.
Yeah.
So like COVID really actually opened the doors.
Okay, I'm Nice, and I'm 69 years old.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm actually 44 years old. 大家好，我是 Madam Huang，我今年是71岁。
There were 5 more women who told us they'd rather not appear in the documentary. So, there were 8 of them. In just 12 weeks, these women formed real bonds with one another and the church members. They found somewhere they belong. Perhaps not a permanent space, nor a stable job, but they found belonging in God's ever-open arms. Just like that, God takes our small baby crawls and turns them into giant leaps in heaven. And since this is a Christian documentary, I thought it only apt to end it off with a verse just like how it opened.
Yeah.